while back, while reading up on the Vietnam War, I came across this news article which stopped me in my tracks. The February the 14th, 1968 edition of the Southeast Missourian had this article entitled, "Boy Photographer Seeks Danger as Others Flee," and it contains a remarkable story. Now, I could summarize this story, but instead, I'm just going to read the news article because it covers everything quite nicely. One of the most unusual sights in a city overflowing with strange sights is the slight figure of a 12-year-old Vietnamese boy darting into the street battles, scrambling across the rubble, deliberately heading for trouble. While other youngsters flee danger, he looks for it. He is a professional photographer, and he has a thick stack of published pictures to prove it. Not much taller than 4 feet and only a smidgen over 60 pounds, bright-eyed Lo Man Hong wears his cameras like a badge. He has been taking pictures professionally more than 2 years, since his locally well-known father, Lo Vin, was injured covering street rioting and needed help in his work. With his father, who's 58 years old, the pair form a team boasting Saigon's oldest and youngest working photographers. The father, a cameraman for 44 years, was born in North Vietnam, studied art and literature at a French university, but turned to his hobby of photography for income when times got tough. For years he travelled, taking pictures throughout Indochina, and didn't marry until he was 43. A few months later, he and his bride fled the communists in the north and came to Saigon. They now have 8 children. At 12, Lo Man Hong is the oldest. The youngest is 18 months. Lo Man Hong and his father arise every day at 5 a.m. to be early on the job and usually don't finish until after 9 p.m. That's 365 days a year, the father sighs. In less hectic times, the pair scoot about the city on a motorbike to cover official government affairs, weddings, airport arrivals, parties, fires, whatever may make news. Lo Man Hong helps with the film processing and printing, then turns messenger salesman, peddling fresh prints to local newspapers and foreign news agencies. His small, slim frame and child's face are both a hindrance and help in his work. Police variably stop him as he tries to pass through official gates, demanding, "Where do you think you're going?" He explains calmly he is the son of photographer Lo Vin, produces his credentials and cameras, and usually continues on his way. But not always, and that, he says, is his biggest problem. Convincing police he really is a working news photographer. The advantage of his size has been seen often by the Saigon press corps. As photographers jam together, elbowing, pushing, clawing for the right picture angle of an arriving dignitary or a crowded news conference, who squirms through? Lo Man Hong. He snakes through a crowd on all fours, emerges in the front of the lot, and clicks happily away with the best angle of all. He is so short, he never blocks those behind, and they let him be. Yes, this kid, dubbed the world's youngest photojournalist, frequented the streets of Saigon while the war raged around him. Now, apart from this article and the photo with it, there's not a lot more info on young Hong. The next reference I could find about him was in the February 2016 issue of Vietnam magazine, who ran an article on him. It says in the intro that Hong met fellow Vietnam War photojournalist Horst Fass in 1998, so this at least confirmed for me that he survived the war. With a little bit more digging, I was able to find this article on a Vietnamese news site from the 31st of January 2018, and there With the help of Google Translate, I finally found out what became of Lo Man Hong. According to this article, after the war, Hong moved to Oregon in the United States. There he met a lady named Cam Tu, who would become his wife, and they would have 2 daughters. His passion for photography remained as he worked as a photo developer and editor. But according to Cam Tu, Hong never spoke about his wartime experiences to the media, only with members of his family. It seems those experiences weighed on him heavily. In January 2018, 3 weeks before this article was published, Hong and his wife returned to Vietnam to attend their nephew's wedding. In addition to the wedding, they toured many places in the central region, and while flying from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh City on the 27th of January, he suffered a heart attack. He passed away not long after. I'll conclude by reading the end of the article. January the 30th was the day he was supposed to board a plane back to the US, but he stayed with his relatives in his homeland. The heavy memories engraved in the heart of a young reporter will only be left as photos and unfinished stories.